Well, folks, it looks like our new president needs a crash course on California water, including some basic stuff. So let's take a look at the map and start with Trump's claim that he'll open a valve to deliver unlimited water from the Pacific Northwest and even Canada so that Los Angeles can extinguish its fires and never worry about water again. Let's start our search for this magic valve up in Northern California, where much of the state's water supply comes from. Water flows down from the Sierra Nevada mountains into the Sacramento and San Joaquin rivers, here, and then to the Delta, where there's a huge federal water diversion that transports water hundreds of miles to farms and some cities. But if this is Trump's magic valve, there's a problem. This federal water project ends in the San Joaquin Valley. There's a separate state water project that sends water to Southern California, but Trump has no control over their valve. And there's another problem. The valve for both of these projects is in the Delta estuary, where flows from these two great rivers start mixing with the salt water in San Francisco Bay. Operators of these two projects have to constantly make sure they're allowing enough fresh water to flow out through the Delta to prevent salt water from rushing in. Over 23 million Californians rely on the Delta for drinking water. And if salt water started showing up in their taps, Trump would have a lot of explaining to do. Trump's corporate farmer friends in the San Joaquin Valley would also have a hard time growing their almonds and pistachios with salt water. How about Trump's political supporters, the giant San Joaquin Valley farms that are served by the federal Central Valley Project? Is there a way to open a valve and bring unlimited water to them from the Northwest and Canada? Sorry, folks, there just isn't any infrastructure, no valves or anything else to get water from the Northwest and Canada, even if those places wanted to send their water to California. So if Trump really intends to open a federal valve to send unlimited water to Southern California, there's only one place he can be talking about, the only federally managed water supply that connects to Southern California, the Colorado River, right over here. But the Colorado River has to support 40 million people throughout the Southwest. It's over-allocated, and it's in chronic drought conditions. If Trump opened that valve to bring more water to California, he'd be taking water away from his MAGA supporters in all these states, and he'd have a lot of explaining to do there. When you take a closer look at California water, you understand why Trump didn't give any details on where his magic valve is located or how unlimited water is supposed to arrive in Southern California. There's just no way to do it, even if you wanted to. Trump did something even more confusing this week. He ordered the Army Corps of Engineers to dump valuable water from two flood control dams over here on the east side of the San Joaquin Valley, claiming he was helping Los Angeles. But none of that water goes to Los Angeles. It flows into the dry Tulare Lake bed where it evaporates. Now, Trump wasted billions of gallons of valuable water that farmers in that area are counting on to irrigate crops in the spring. And then he lied about it. Just like the time he used a Sharpie to redraw a National Weather Service map and lie about the path of Hurricane Dorian. But there's one last possibility. Maybe Trump just speaks in weird metaphors, and instead of a valve with water from Canada, what he really means is he wants to take over the state's water infrastructure and use it to redirect water away from Northern California communities, tribes, fisheries, and wildlife refuges, and deliver it to his friends. Now, that sounds like something Trump might try to do, but there's a problem with that too. It's flat out illegal. Under California law, starting with the state constitution, the people of California own all the water. None of it belongs to the federal government. Federal law has long acknowledged states' primary authority over water. It's right here in the Reclamation Act of 1902. So for anyone who thinks Trump can just take water in California and do whatever he wants with it, well, I have a pipeline to Canada I'd like to sell you. So let's review. There's no magic valve to bring unlimited water to Southern California unless you want to steal it from the Colorado River, which isn't going to happen. Trump doesn't own California's water or its water infrastructure. He simply doesn't have the legal authority or the infrastructure to do what he's claiming. And on top of all that, The reality of the tragic wildfires in Southern California is that water policy had nothing to do with it. Trump is simply lying about that. Wildfires, like those in Los Angeles, are happening more frequently and much more intensely because of drought and extreme weather conditions fueled by climate change, something Trump
It'll start getting cooler.
So Obama's talking about all of this with the global warming and that. A lot of it's a hoax. It's a hoax.
refuses to acknowledge. There's a lot we can do to make Los Angeles and other communities safer from the threat of wildfire. Let's focus on that, on disaster relief right now, and going forward, on vegetation management, hardening of homes and buildings, evacuation routes, more firefighters, and cutting-edge technologies to detect and respond to fires faster. And let's urge President Trump to stop the nonsense and the lies.